November 1st, 2016, 12:39 p.m. 12-year-old Jacob Evans went missing around 9 p.m. the night of Halloween in Columbus, Ohio. Last seen with his friend, 12-year-old Freddie Black. This is what Freddie Black confirms happened to Jacob Evans. Question number 1. Where were you on this night?
I was trick-or-treating with him. It was when the night was almost over. Kids were getting home, but me and Jacob wanted to find more candy. So we continued looking around for houses that were still passing out candy, and we couldn't find any except for this one regular-looking house that had lights on.
Question number 2. Was there anything strange about this particular house?
Nothing that I found weird or nerved about, no. Except for the fact that there were lights on inside the house. Jacob wanted more candy and tried to open the door, but it appeared locked. I checked for cars or a sign of any police nearby. Surprised there wasn't any. But I didn't want to get caught because of him. He tried to slam himself at the door, and of course, the door finally opened. He broke the lock. I tried to tell him that we should go and eat whatever we had of our candy, but Jacob ignored me and tried to scout over the house for some candy. This wasn't like Jacob at all. He was just acting strange. Every time I tried to get him to leave out of the house with me, he just growled at me and threatening me. He was freaking me the fuck out. Sorry for the language, sir, but he was freaking me out. I also tried to mention this to him, but I never spoke of it to him. I tried to tell him this, but he never listened to me at all.
Question number 3. And what did you try to tell him?
The house, it was for sale. Nobody lived there.
Question number 4. Did Jacob notice this when he approached this house?
No, he didn't. I did, however, but when I tried to talk him out of it, he never listened to me at all. Something changed in him. I just know it.
Question number 5. Before you can tell us why you think that, could you tell us more about what happened next, after you went in the house with him?
Sure. He started looking through the bedrooms, the cabinets, the refrigerator, and even the bathrooms. He even looked down in the basement for some candy, but I didn't go down there with him because of how dark it was down there. He went down there without turning on the lights, which was the weird thing. I'd known Jacob since we were both in kindergarten. He was afraid of the dark and always slept with the lights on. He just ran down the stairs without stopping to turn on the lights. He went to search in the dark. I was oddly weirded out and scared. He came back up a few minutes later, saying he didn't find any, although the lights were off. Jacob then told me there was one more room he didn't check, and it was another room in the upstairs hallway. It seemed like he skipped this room on accident, but without hesitation, as he ran up the stairs, he immediately grasped the doorknob and twisted it. He opened the door, and this was where I felt like Jacob was losing his mind. It was another dark room. I couldn't even tell what room it was, but it was definitely dark. Jacob tried to search for a light switch, but he said there wasn't one. And another thing he said that freaked me out more.
Question number 6. What did he say?
Look, can this be over, please? I can't take it. Just telling you about this whole situation anymore. Please, can you just end the interview?
Not until all of our questions are answered. This is very important, Fred. You need to tell us what he said to you. So just calm down, take a deep breath, and whenever you feel comfortable, tell us what he said.
He said that the walls were... God, this is just too freaky to imagine. I don't think I can take it anymore.
Fred, we're all here with you. Trust me, nobody is here to hurt you. We just need a few more questions answered, okay?
He said that the walls were... They were... squishy. Felt like warm, clammy human flesh.
Question 7. What did he do next after he told you this?
He went in the room, and when I watched him walk in there alone, he seemed to keep on walking forever. It was as if he was going to walk into eternal darkness. I think that was what the room was. Eternal darkness. He said that he couldn't see anything at all. It was darker than the basement, he said. He kept looking around for candy, but then he told me that the room felt empty. Jacob asked me if I wanted to go in the room, but I said no, already scared to death. He kept on walking forward. From my perspective, he was small, far away from me as if he was out in the open. It wasn't normal for a room to be this big in a house like this, I thought. But then he stopped, saying he found a bowl full of candy. He held up a bowl filled to the brim with candy, which I could barely see. Then he looked up, and there was a pole chain just hanging down in front of his face. I didn't recall it being there when he found the bowl of candy, but he just stared at it, then told me he was going to turn on the light so that I can go in with him too. And then Jacob pulled the chain down, and as he did so, the door shut.
Question number 8. The door shut? By itself?
Yes! The door suddenly shut itself the moment he pulled the chain, locking himself in there, alone. I tried to open the door, but it was locked from the inside somehow. I started banging on the door, trying to see if he was okay in there. I heard nothing, just nothing but the sounds of breathing. His breathing. He didn't speak at all. He was just breathing. I couldn't open the door at all. I tried to break the door down, but the door wouldn't budge at all. I ran to call for help, but nobody answered when I was outside, so I went to Jacob's house to have his parents call the police.
Question number 9. And have the police opened the door?
They told us that they couldn't get the door to open. They tried their best, they said. The door wouldn't break open. Jacob was left in there. Or, I think he was.
Question number 10. Why do you think that?
Well, when I went to bed last night, I woke up from a loud banging noise from outside my bedroom window. I sat up, turned on the light because I couldn't see what was banging on my window. And as I did, I saw him. Jacob.
Question number 11. You saw him?
At least, I thought I did.
Question number 12. Did he say anything to you?
Surprisingly, he did.
Question number 13. What did he say?
He told me to come into the house with him, into the room. His skull was crushed. His skull was mashed in many places like putty. One of his eyes were looking up at the sky. The other was looking directly at me. His nose was bent inward. His jaw was broken in many directions. His whole fucking skull was like a crumbled piece of paper. His bloodied face. His fucking face. It won't get out of my mind. Please. Please end this interview, please. You motherfucker, please end it now.
Question number 14. Okay. Just relax yourself. Watch that language of yours and just listen to one more question. Just one more question, Fred. We promise. Just one more question is all we need, Fred. Okay?
Okay.
Was that the last time you've seen him? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for answering our questions, Fred. You can go home with your parents now. The interview is over. We got all the information we need.
Thank you.
3 days after the interview was broadcasted on live television on the local news channel, Freddie Black was found and confirmed dead in his bedroom around 9 a.m. Death by suicide. He was found dead by his father, 42-year-old Gerald Black. His wrists were cut open by a razor blade, and blood was all over the floor at the scene. Autopsy results were in. The only thing found with him was a written note, possibly written by Freddie himself, which we will read aloud.
The door is alive, and it's hungry.
The police have tried to inspect the house that Jacob had disappeared in, but there was no use, for that the door couldn't be broken down for unknown reasons.